Okay guys, it's been a while since I've done a Minecraft video. I uploaded a different kind of video where I was discussing my tier list for Minecraft, so sorry for the lack of uploads. But anyway, I am back with a fresh new video here today. In today's video, I'm going to be giving my ideas for the Caves and Cliffs update, because so far we haven't had a lot of things announced, just a few mobs, a few biomes, and a few new features that I'm also excited about. But in today's video, I'm going to be discussing what my personal ideas I have for this update. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're getting closer to 120 subscribers, and for the first month of 2021, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out any more of these awesome uploads that I have on the channel. Let's get on with the first idea, which is more ores added to the Caves and Cliffs update. Now also, if I'm going to say ideas, they're mostly ideas for Minecraft to think of. I'm not going to have any more ideas. For example, I'm not really that much of a rock person or of a technology person, but I do know a lot about nature. But anyway, for ores, I'd like to see our pyrite, because it would be interesting to see how much, just like Fool's Gold. So my idea for pyrite is to have the exact same spawn level, the exact same things as regular gold, but is worth nothing, just like in the real world. Pyrite fooled a lot of people. It's also called Fool's Gold because it fooled a lot of people thinking it was gold. It looks like gold, but it is pyrite. It has different kind of materials inside of it, and that makes it not gold. It's absolutely worthless. I like to see how people in the cave would try to find gold and oh, there's gold, eureka, and mine it, and it end up being pyrite, which is actually a disappointment. Also, I like to see gold a little bit more rare, because if the gold is more rare and you find pyrite, it's a lot more disappointing when you find pyrite instead of gold. Which also, if you're frustrated with pyrite and the gold levels spawn a lot less, that also encourages people to go more often to the Nether, which was Minecraft's goal, or Mojang and Microsoft's goal from the beginning when they added the Nether update for people to go there a lot more. Though very similar to iron, I like to see titanium. Titanium can be made into metal, which you can use metal to make more tools. This is very similar to iron, but I want this to be a little more powerful than iron. Maybe even an additional feature, which would also make the ore generation more rare. There are some other ores in the world, so if you have any more ore ideas that you have, please leave them in the comment section. Next, we have more mobs I like to see in the update. And I only have one that I personally like to see, but there are other ideas. So the first idea I have, well, the only idea I have for more mobs, obviously Mojang, if they're going to add any more features to the update, the only mob I like to see is the ogre. Now, I like to see more mobs, like I said before, but the only one that I can really think of are the ogres. I like to see ogres, or trolls, or whatever they are. Like the Trolls movie, except they don't look like that at all. Excuse me, I burped. I'll throw some pictures up on screen. Ogres kind of carry axes, like a piggy or something, like these little spiny little bats, and bang them around, and they're big, just like the warden. I don't want it to take it away from the warden mob, but I'd like to see it maybe hiding somewhere. It's kind of in a fantasy, so maybe I like to see it finding somewhere also in the deep dark. Maybe I don't want to take away, again, like I said, I don't want it to take away from the warden mob, because it's already a terrifying mob, but I personally like to see this. It's more fantasy, which I'd like to see in a future update, which I honestly like to see a fantasy update more than an end update, which we'll talk about probably a few months after the cave update. But that's just my opinion on what kind of mobs I want. Another idea I have for the Caves and Cliffs update is the height limit to be increased. Looking at the cave generation, I'll put some clips up on the screen. Looking at the new cave generation we're getting in this update, I was kind of confused, why does it look so deep, especially with the new biome called the Deep Dark. I was wondering, the Deep Dark, so how deep does that go? So that doesn't mean that we have to raise the generation for things under to be a lot bigger and go down a lot deeper, because I honestly don't see a Deep Dark biome being in the deep dark all the way in the bottom if the height limit just doesn't go that far. So it needs to be slightly upscaled, so the ground could be upscaled so we can have more room for the bottom. Which, think about this now, seems really hard and complex for Mojang to do, but I highly doubt that they will just ignore this, and I highly think that they're probably going to do this. I don't think it's that hard, but it's just saying it out loud just sounds a little bit hard, just to add a new biome underneath, raising up the ground.
Next question is from The Real Join Main. Will the Caves and Cliffs update include a height limit increase I'm very interested in building much higher than you currently allow.
That's a great question, and yeah, we have seen many of these questions. So yeah, we can say that we are looking into it, but we can unfortunately not promise anything at this point because it's kind of tricky tech-wise to extend the world height, and we also, for example, need to look into that we don't get performance issues from it. But we really do want to extend the world height and are looking into it.
It's super cool though. So when do you think we'll have an update on this?
Early next year at the latest.
Another follow-up question.
The next idea I have for the Caves and Cliffs update is for the warden to be protecting some kind of loot or treasure. They briefly talked about this on the Ask Mojang. I'll put a link in the description. They briefly talked, like about a month ago, 2 months ago almost now, they briefly talked about the warden mob not going to be guarding anything, which honestly confused me when I was watching it, and I made a whole video about my concerns about it. I was a little bit bummed to hear that they don't have any other plans to add any loot that they're guarding, even though there is going to be loot in the Deep Dark, which they also talked about while they're talking about the warden not going to be guarding anything, which honestly is just kind of a little disappointing. I'll put a clip on the screen, but I'm not going to talk about it as much because I made a whole video on it, so you guys can check that out if you want to check it out. I'll put it in the description, title cards and stuff, you know, whatever.
Right, so next up we have a few warden questions. I'm going to ask those to Brandon because you work quite a lot of those. So the first question we have is from Jason Strew. What is the warden protecting in the deep caves? I only ask this because of the unique name you gave the mob and its resemblance to the end.
Yes, so the warden is not necessarily protecting anything. We wanted to make it so that the name warden was very ambiguous. I definitely think there are going to be people like theory crafting out there what it actually means. It does have a meaning, but we're not going to tell you, obviously.
The last idea I have for the Caves, let's update the features that I want, is the structures to be updated and for more structures to be added. The structures in Minecraft aren't boring, just like I personally like the dungeons mod. It's just they're not really big. I like to see bigger, like a bigger dungeon than that. I like to see more things for the abandoned mine shaft. Just a little bit more, a little bit more reasons to go there besides getting diamonds, which isn't that cool. I also want to see for some new ones to be added. The only idea I have is for there to be like camps, as we kind of briefly saw for the warden little sneak peek we saw. Like I don't know if it was man-made or a new structure, but I want something like that, like a camp for it. A special kind of camp, like a mine camp, kind of like a mine shaft, but different things can be found in there, like new tools, existing tools in the game. I want something like that. And that does it for this video. Please subscribe. We're getting close to 120 subscribers, and I appreciate if we could get there, maybe this month since it's 2021. Happy New Year's, guys. Take care. Make sure y'all also hit the like button. I do all kinds of content all the time on this channel, so make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell so you don't miss any other videos like that. Anyway, I'm Halllad, and I'll see you on the next one. Farewell.